This week, we do a show and tell of random shit in my room, some of which is Japanese. I go by the name of Johnny Massacre, and this is the Johnny Massacre Show. I know you really wanna go, but I don't wanna go, 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 go. No, I don't. I know you really wanna go, but I don't wanna go, 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 go. No, I don't. I know you really wanna go, but I don't wanna go, 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 go. No, I don't. I know you really wanna go, but I don't wanna go, 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 go. No, I don't. So I didn't do the Johnny Massacre Show last week. I promised myself that if there's one thing that I would consistently do in my life, it's the Johnny Massacre Show. And unfortunately, it took about 2 weeks for that to fail. But here I am again. And I don't really have a lot to talk about. There could be politics, but I'm getting a bit tired of talking about politics because I think everyone pretty much has got the gist of this right now. It's left controlled. There's loads of outrage. There's loads of virtue signaling. The left use the shield of virtue to hide behind, and actually all they're trying to do is push forward with their agenda, which is just appealing to voters and getting a left-wing candidate into power. Fuck all that. Fuck all that. Seriously, you guys, you fucking get on with it. So this week, I thought I might do a bit of a show and tell. That's what my Yankee friends might say. You know, in school, oh, today's like show and tell, where I bring in some item and like show it to everyone. It's like amazing. In England, we call that, we don't have that shit because we don't want to show people shit we got at home. We just study. So I've got an array of shit on the floor at my feet. And I'm just going to show it to you and talk about it. Let's do this. So the first item, a smile on my face, is this matcha chocolate daifuku. It actually says "die fuck you," which is really great. I'm going to show you that now. Die fuck you. There goes all my advertising revenue. All 2 cents of it. Fuck you, YouTube. Die fuck you. Can you guess what it is yet, Mike? It's a present for my mum, because my mum fucking loves this shit. You know, my mum and my dad, when I buy them presents, 75 or 80% of the time, they don't give a fuck about the present, even if I think about it really hard. My dad, for his 60th birthday, I bought him the wickedest present. I remember a year before, we were walking around in London when I was on holiday in London. It was a beautiful day. I was just following him. You know, he was giving me the intellectual tour, taking me to some galleries and museums and shit like that. Whatever keeps him happy. If my dad's happy, I'm happy. And he suddenly, out of the blue, said, "You know what? I would really like a box of wicked knives." No, actually, he didn't say it like that at all, but he did say it in a British accent, because he's British. And I remembered what he said, and I thought, do you know what, mate? I'll give you a fucking box of wicked knives. A box of Japanese knives. Japanese people invented sushi, and to make sushi, you got to cut that fish with precision. And so they've got a bit of a history with knives. Also, the noble samurai sword, probably the coolest weapon ever, was made by the Japanese. So if you're going to get some sharp, pointy, stabby thing from Japan, is good. So I went to this place called, I think, Capybari, but that's like a fucking weird kind of rodent hamstery thing. Kappabashi, that's what it's called. Bashi means bridge, I think. Kappa, I don't have a fucking clue, other than the pikey tracksuit. So I went to this place, and it's famous for selling kitchen wares on a business to business level. It's not consumer shit. It's where the restaurant owners go to buy pots, pans, signs, things like that, and knives. Knives is probably its most famous export. And so I rolled into the shop and I just bought the most expensive fucking knife I could. It cost about $550, $600. And I bought 2 other knives as well, made of different material, because there are various materials from which knives are forged. I can't remember what they are, but I think the sharpest one is some kind of hybrid, and it's a soft metal, and apparently they're a pain in the ass because you have to clean them, or at least kind of dip them in oil before you put them away. I got in one of those anyways. But the main centerpiece was this $550, $600 knife. Had this beautiful wooden handle, and I fucking engraved it with something awesome. I can't even remember what I engraved it with, but it was something to do with our family name, and I had to get a little bit creative with the Japanese. So I infused the blade with spiritual Japanese power by engraving it with mystical Chinese symbols that the Japanese built their phonetic alphabet upon, known as kanji. And I gave it to him, and reaction wasn't exactly amazing. You know when you're a kid and you get the present you always wanted for Christmas? Well, I did anyways. Spoiled fucker that I am. And you get the present and you go mad and you run around the house screaming in a high-pitched voice. And then you sit down and you use and abuse the present. I didn't get that kind of reaction, not even close. But I thought, hey, he's really going to like it. And then, like a year later, I went around his house and I was looking for these knives. Actually, I wasn't looking for them. I stumbled upon them. I was looking for a plate, and right at the back of the cupboard, covered in dust, out of sight, out of mind, was the beautiful palm box containing the Japanese knives that I sent him. Dad, if you're watching, and I think I brought it up again when I went back at Christmas last year, and my dad's an intellectual, the very least, extremely academic man, and therefore he's able to come up with a quick, witty excuse. And when I quizzed him upon the whereabouts of the knives and why he wasn't using them, he said, I keep them by the bed so I can slit the gizzard of any burglar who dares break into my abode. Something along those lines. Ah, well, that's quite a cool image. My dad using a magical, enchanted Japanese knife to murder a burglar. But that's not why I bought him the knives. I bought him the knives to use them, not to potentially use them one day in case someone tries to come in and fuck you over. So Dad, if you're watching, please use those knives. My mum's the same. I bought her stuff that she hasn't really liked. I bought her an Xbox One for Christmas when I was a bit flush with cash blood, and she cried. That was an excellent present. I think I ruined her life. All she does is sit there playing on the Xbox One, but whatever makes you happy, Mum. So, this is the other fail-safe present. She fucking loves this. I don't think she even knows what it is. It is matcha chocolate, as you've already seen. Daifuku. It's called Daifuku. What does Daifuku mean? Fuck, I should know. Fuku means, fuck you. Fuku means snow. I think it might be. It's something snow. Some kind of, because these are little balls which kind of have this little, this powder on it, and it looks like a snowdrop or something. So, it's quite a famous Japanese dessert, and it's made out of mochi, which is pulverized rice. A lot of people like mochi. It's very gelatinous. You can put it in a savory dish such as ramen. It's a bit like a Japanese meatball in a way, just something a bit starchy to put into a broth that gives it that nice balance and makes eating exciting. It's like you're digging for buried treasure in the food. And mochi can also be made into a kind of thin skin, and then they use it almost like pasta. in something like ravioli, where you would use a thin sheet of pasta to wrap up some kind of meat or treat and eat it. This is the same. You can wrap things in mochi. And the Japanese often wrap their traditional sweet, which is red bean. It's a red bean known as anko, and they sweeten it. And they used to wrap red bean with the mochi. A lot of foreigners aren't into that, but they modernized it, and now they won't just wrap red beans. They will wrap whipped cream with strawberries and even ice cream and stuff with mochi, and they get quite creative sometimes. So that's what this is. It is chocolate wrapped in mochi, but it does not taste like chocolate. It's squidgy, squishy, squeezy, gelatinous. And I'll be damned if this is chocolate, but it's basically some sweet, chewy, yummy stuff wrapped in gelatinous rice. And I know my mum loves it, so I stumbled upon it one day. You usually only find it at the airport or in some tourist souvenir shops. I was going to the most famous shrine, not a temple, that's Buddhism, a shrine, which is, I think, Japan's main religion, which no one gives a fuck about religion in Japan, but shrines are built in the name of the Shinto religion, as opposed to temples, which look more Chinese, imposing and militaristic, and they are built in the name of Buddhism. And I was visiting the most famous shrine. As I said, it's called Meiji Shrine. It's really downtown, really, really good vibes down there. And in the tourist shop, they had this, so I bought it. And it just so happens Mother's Day was recently. I did call you Mum, and I didn't send you the present yet. But I will be sending it to you soon, and it's definitely going to make her happy. Unfortunately, there's no English on this, but these are pretty good. It's green tea flavored chocolate in mochi. So this is for my mum. Some Japanese stuff, something I'm sure a lot of people watching won't have seen. There you go. Next item. Chicken. Man, see, me and chicken, I was never really into chicken that much. A bit gristly, wasn't keen on the fat. And chicken in Britain, yeah, we got the humble classic roast chicken, but hey, give me a steak anytime, give me some beef. Chicken became probably the number one food in my life. Down the road from me, where my recording studio is in Tokyo, there is the best food in the world. There is a small yakitori shop, and they make the best food I've ever tasted in my life. It's very underground. It's definitely not in any guidebooks. The owner's really uncompromising. He loves me though because I'm so lovable, and he basically engraved my name on a glass, which validates me in his enterprise, and I can go there anytime and eat his yakitori. And after that, I realized chicken is the business, and I do a lot of training, kickboxing and stuff, and chicken has half the calories of beef or pork. So if you want to get a beach body and do serious training, you have to eat chicken. If you ever listen to these Hollywood stars, these guys who get ripped, get these Adonis bodies, they all say the same thing. Oh man, chicken and broccoli, chicken and broccoli, chicken and broccoli. And they don't look happy about it. So that's when I realized it's all about chicken if you want to build a bit of muscle and lose weight and stay lean. As I said, half the calories of the other meats. So I started getting into chicken. And now it's pretty much all I can eat if I want to stay trim. And I've got to be honest, I'm getting a little bit bored of it. So what I do now is I buy 2 kilograms of chicken from this really cheap, almost wholesale supermarket that's fucking miles away. And I'll take it back to my place on skateboard. So I'll skateboard to the gym, which is next to this place called Massacre, by the way. Pick up 2 kilograms of chicken in a bag and then skate all the way home. And I used to cook it, I used to cook 30% at a time. But now I just cook the whole fucking thing in a baking pan. And then I'll put it in the fridge and just eat it because it's convenient that way. I only eat 1 meal a day because I love music and I'm grinding away on my music life, my hip-hop music, my electronic music, my drum and bass, my YouTube videos and all that stuff, and I don't have time to eat. Eating, preparation, all that shit, it just rapes your time. So I just will cook a shitload of chicken, and that's what you're seeing there. And it's funny because these chickens have blatantly been abused. 2 kilograms of chicken, 2 fucking kilograms, costs 800 yen. That's like $7 for 2 kilograms of chicken. How can I say no? And you know that these chickens are in the coop and their feathers are just all pressed up against the metal lattice. And they probably, if you look at it, it just looks like a white feathery waffle. But it's actually Mr. Chicken who's getting elbowed into the corner and having his skin shredded by his torturous confinement. Sorry, chickens, you're the cheapest I could find, and I cannot say no to that deal because the money's got to go back into the music. So that's show and tell number 2. There's 2 more items on my show and tell. We got some records. I have about 5,000 records in England, drum and bass records. And yeah, I just did a tour of Shibuya, coolest place in the world, and fashion and youth capital of Tokyo, Japan. Everyone loves it, from the young to the old, from the rich to the poor. And I went into all the record shops and I found quite a lot of cool stuff, a few random sales going on, a few crate diggers camping outside stores and just flipping through it at 100 miles per hour. And I found this one record shop called Jammers, I think, and it's run by this Jamaican chap, and he's on the 7th floor. He has a Jamaican flag in the window. You'd never spot it if you're walking past, and he's got this little cult-like record shop up there. Wicked bloke. Went in there, as are Jamaicans. He was very chatty, and we just chatted and chatted and chatted. At the end, felt like a buddy, and he really was into the music. He just kept playing me tunes and tunes and tunes. That's what vinyl and selecting is all about. So that was wicked. And I just said, look, for my drum and bass tunes, you've got to have some ragga intro before the tune drops, and he recommended me a few. And some of these are just, they've got the most ridiculous ragga intro, and I'm going to sample it. And that was a really good recommendation by him. So that's why I got these records. I think, yeah, one of them's on here. Look at these fucking things, man. Look at that. These are old. That's 91. And this one, he said, this one, I don't want to show you this, but I'm going to show it to you. I don't know when this fucker was made, but he was basically telling me this is the record that invented hip-hop. Can you believe that? I think this is 60s. I could be completely wrong, but it's got to be ancient because rap supposedly was invented by Grandmaster Flash and all that in the 70s. But if you listen to this, it's basically a guy rapping, and it came way before the classic examples often used to evidence that hip hop was created in the late 70s. It was created on this shit. So this track is called "Here Comes the Judge" by Pig Meat, Mark Ham. Haha, don't like the cops in Jamaica. Let's check that out for the first example of hip hop ever. Here Comes the Judge. I think there's a few versions, so make sure you get it right. I also picked up a few instrumentals. I got a track by Gwen Stefani, but because it's produced by Pharrell Williams, Banana. See that she obviously went to Harajuku and was like, oh my god, I'm gonna change my life. It's funny, even when you see celebrities coming out here, they don't really understand Japanese culture and they just immediately adopt it. A cultural appropriation. No, it's not cultural appropriation, but they do adopt it and they don't really see it for what it is. And they think it's really cool, but actually a lot of it's kind of dasai. Dasai means lame. And that's kind of what Gwen Stefani's done. But I do kind of like the design. Anyways, it's produced by Pharrell Williams, so I want to have the instrumental. I'm not going to sample it, honest. Dr. Dre track, My Hero, Legend. So that has an instrumental on it. I don't actually need this track, but I just wanted it because My Hero, Biggie Smalls, is on it, and I'm going to frame that shit. Noriega, Super Thug, another Neptune's production. This is for sampling. This is from the Jammers Dub Reggae. This is on the turntable at the moment. Outkast, Miss Jackson, classic track, also has the instrumental. And this is a Primo, DJ Premier as we might say in England, Premier track by Group Home, Superstar. Make sure you listen to Superstar by Group Home. Fucking banging 90s hip-hop track that you might have heard on Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Wickedness. Right, on to the last part of my show and tell. Is this? I bought this from one of my favourite clothing stores called Galaxy with 3 X's. And what does it even say? Boom Boy Super Sound. Yeah, that's me. And they used to have 2 shops. One of them shut down. It's just really cool. And they must be coming back now because EDM, which is the worst genre of fucking bullshit, confused music ever. Drum and bass is not EDM that I make, by the way. EDM fashion is all about bright colours, so they must be selling a lot of these for the festivals and shit that all the sheep go to. I like this little guy, dog. He looks rather upset, loving that colour scheme. And this one is really cool. This purple one, fucking hell, we got a star on the hoodie. This has a nice fit. It's really wide and airy. It's nearly coming to summer now in Japan, but I didn't feel too hot in it today. I just had to wear it. And yeah, that's very me. I'm the only person who can go shopping when summer's just around the corner and I'll end up with a whole winter wardrobe. This is full on weebo, whatever you call it, for you Japanese nerds out there. Look at that kawaii shit. Look at that guy. That's kind of kimo kawaii. Kimo means like horrible, but horrible cute. Kimo kawaii. Kimo kawaii. This little fucker with the star on his head. Look at this angry cunt. I love this lining. So that's pretty cool. And this came with this weird overlay. It's very unisex. And actually it's mainly for women now. But the designs were always a little bit in the middle, androgynous. And they're fucking cool. So I bought those clothes. These are very Japanese. I like the vibes on them. I like the colours. And if you want to stand out, there's nothing wrong with a bit of peacocking. So that's pretty much it for today. I wanted to show you some of the items in my recording studio. And I'm just so into my music. I don't often have a lot of subject matter, but I'm going to make the effort and I'm going to see what's out there video game wise, movie wise and stuff, and try to make things a little bit more uniform. Do you really want one of these shows every week? If you show me some love, I show you some love back. So make sure you leave your feedback in the comments, good or bad. I can take it. And I hope you enjoyed the video. My name's Johnny Massacre. I'm a rapper, a music producer and a DJ based in Tokyo, Japan, originally from London. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. It helps. See you on the next one.